Hey there, welcome to What Dogs Really Want, a podcast where we ditch some old school myths and explore what our dogs need to thrive in the modern world. We are your hosts. There's Maren
Hello.
and Alana
Hello.
and me. I'm Stephanie. And each week we're going to talk about canine behavior looking through the lens of pathology, enrichment, and empathy. So, we do want to clarify that our podcast was created to express our feelings and discuss how we can best support the dogs that we love. We don't wish to offend anybody. Our goal is to view life from a dog's perspective and explore how we can best support their behavior and give them the best possible life. And whether you're a dog pro or just in love with your dog, we think you're in the right place.
And this week is a continuation of our breed group series. Last week we covered herding dogs and world dogs, and this week we are going to get further into toy dogs, scent hounds, and bulldogs if we have time, exploring what they were originally bred for, what characteristics they have, what sort of enrichment they might like, and how you might be able to support them better, and just kind of exploring those different breeds deeper so you can understand your dog better. And I think I'm going to kick it off with toy dog since we didn't have time to do that last week. So,
Yay.
whenever you ladies are ready, I can pull up my
Ready.
We're ready. Tell us about toys.
I will. Toy dogs were originally bred to be companion dogs and lap guardians, and they were often had by wealthy people and people of royalty, and they were kind of seen as a symbol of status if you had a little lap companion. And toy dogs are our Chihuahuas, our Pomeranians, our Pekingese, Shih Tzus, Maltese, any of our like lap dogs or purse dogs. That's what you think of with a toy dog. So I was looking into the history of toy dogs and I found some interesting facts. It dates back to ancient China and the Middle East. That's where they kind of were originated as little lap guardians. And like I said, they were a symbol of status and wealth to have a little companion dog. And just some little fun facts. Pekingese dogs were bred because they look like little lions, and people liked that. And pugs were bred specifically for their wrinkles, which we all recognize them as today. And they were seen as lucky because of their wrinkles. And Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, were used as foot warmers, which I don't think is surprising if you look at a Cavalier with their fur and just how they are. Every Cavalier I've ever met, I think would be perfectly happy sitting on my feet all day. I think they'd love nothing more.
Agreed.
So I just thought that was interesting. So, some characteristics of toy dogs: they bond closely with their family and their social members, and a lot of the times they might attach specifically to one person in their family. And this means that they may be wary and more alert to strangers. And this might include behaviors such as guarding their person from a stranger, barking, growling. They're also not necessarily dog social because of their breeding. They were never bred to work closely with other dogs. They were just bred to be them and their person. So they've never really had to interact with other dogs genetically. This doesn't mean they can't get along with other dogs. They just might show aggressive, reactive behaviors. You shouldn't be surprised, especially with dogs that they don't know. Um, yeah, they love close contact, thus the name lapdog. They love being with their person. They love being close to their person. My toy dog is on my lap right now. So that's beautiful and lovely, but also because of this, they might struggle with separation anxiety, or like I said, guarding their human. So those are some behaviors that you might want to look out for. They're often very intelligent and very quick learners. And so, with that being said, we can get into what enrichment a toy dog might like, because that's what we do at What Dogs Want. So yeah, so they're very intelligent, they're quick learners, but I think a lot of times people see that they are happy being on their lap all day, so they assume that they don't need that mental stimulation. That's a myth. We're busting
You're
that
busting
Wrong.
myth.
Ms.
just because they're happy being with you and on your lap doesn't mean that they don't need the mental stimulation and they don't love the mental stimulation. So yeah, we find that a lot of them at school at least really love problem solving games, anywhere from a towel game to a muffin tin game. My dog Obi's favorite game is the stacked cup game. So you have two plastic cups and you put a treat in between and stack them. So he has to pull the cups apart or throw them around to get the treat out. That's his favorite game ever. We played that yesterday. But I feel like we said this with herding dogs, but it's also true for toy dogs that I think the key thing that they really enjoy with enrichment is that cooperative enrichment, which is what we do at What Dogs Want, where you sit on the floor with them and you interact with the game. You are there with them. You're not just giving them a Kong or a licky mat or a snuffle mat to do on their own. They really like having that interaction with you and doing the game with you. Um, so yeah, they also might enjoy foraging and digging, just natural dog behaviors that any dog enjoys, digging, sniffing, those are calming behaviors. So just because they look like a little toy doesn't mean they're not a dog and they don't want to be a dog. So yeah, I think the big thing is just cooperative games is what I find a lot of dogs, but specifically the dogs who were bred to be close with humans, like toy dogs and herding dogs. I think that's what they enjoy the most. Um, yeah. And then I just had a little anecdote to that kind of ties into last week when we were
She's
talking.
on fire this week.
Just spitting it out. I've been containing this. I've been holding this in since last week. I didn't get my turn. Anyway, last week we were talking about how herding dogs can be really sensitive to new objects and things moving, and how we use the, oh, just go touch it for Jinx, the border collie, and how that can be useful for all dogs, not just herding dogs. And just a couple days after we recorded that episode, something happened with Obi that I thought was a great example of that and that I would share. So,
Please do.
yeah. So the other day we went out searching for a new bookshelf and we did find one. It's very lovely. So we brought the bookshelf into the flat. And obviously, Obi, he's been around bookshelves. Like I've always had bookshelves. He's been around furniture. He knows bookshelves. But so we brought the bookshelf into the living room and we just had it kind of in the middle of the living room while we were cleaning it off and figuring where we wanted it to go. And so Obi, he saw us bring it in, he saw us put it down, but then once it was just standing there, he lost it. He freaked out. He started barking and growling. And so, that's fine. I just went over, I sat on the ground, I touched the bookshelf, and I said, "Oh, let's just come touch it. You want to come touch the bookshelf?" And so he came right over. And I think the big thing is with this is like he trusts me. So he knows if I tell him to touch something, it's safe. I'm not going to tell him to touch something that's going to hurt him. So as soon as I told him to touch, he came over, he touched it, he was fine. But then later that night, we had put it where it was going to end up. And Obi had been in the bedroom for a little bit doing his thing. And then he came back in and saw the bookshelf again, which he had already seen, he had already touched, but it was in a different space this time. Lost his mind, started barking, started growling. And so I had him touch it again. He touched it again. I touched it with him. He sniffed it a little bit and he's been fine ever since. But even after that initial touch and he's fine, he still needed another minute to figure it out and realize that it was okay because it was in a different place. So even though he already saw it, he saw us bring it in. He's been around bookshelves. He still just needs that encouragement. So I just thought that was a good example of how that can help your sensitive guys who might be sensitive towards new objects.
Little dogs, big feelings. Wasn't that
Little
our very
dogs,
first?
big feelings. Yeah. Elena.
I think he's got a little bit of herding dog in him somewhere that
Yeah.
sounds so like it's moved.
I think so
Yeah.
too. I feel like a lot of those toy dogs are like sensitive little guys, like herding dogs. I feel like it's kind of comparable. Like they're
Yeah. I
they're
think,
really sensitive to their environment and like their who's coming in. I feel like it's their person. Like they're very protective of their
Hmm.
person too.
yeah, I feel
That
like
makes sense. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just because I feel like out of all the breeds, toy dogs and herding dogs are the two that were, I mean, also kind of gun dogs, but they were bred to be like the most close with their person, like toy dogs and herding dogs. So it does make sense that they are the most, I keep saying sensitive, but they are sensitive. I think it makes sense that those two breed groups are kind of the two that you see that the most in because they were bred to be so close with their humans and so pick up on every little change and noise and movement. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a threat. He had to let you know. Maybe that bookcase is haunted because now it's over there. Mom.
I know. He didn't see it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, nobody knows.
I guess you'll know if he starts acting weird around the bookcase,
Yeah, I
then
guess that's yet to be determined. It is
okay.
secondhand, so
Someone's in there.
there's an entity.
Entity in this show.
But yeah,
I
I
have
just
to
like
say,
go
I
for it.
really like the term lap guardian. I think that is like the best description because that's the one of the behaviors that people always call us and want help with is because their dog's barking all the time or acts aggressive when other people approach the human.
Yeah.
And so lap guardian is like perfect. That's exactly what they're doing. Like you said, they are bred for that, but I had never heard lap guardian before, and I think that's precious. It's very descriptive.
Obi is a lap
Yeah,
guardian.
he
Yeah, and
is
I
a
feel
lap
like yeah,
guardian.
people don't think about that because like they are so sweet and they want to be on your lap, and then it's just going back to our little dog thing. They're like, oh, they just have little dog syndrome, but no, that's what they were bred for. They were bred to alert you if there's someone else coming to the house, if they hear a knock on the door, if they see someone out the window. Like that's what they were bred for. So it's just they're just doing their job and they're
Doing their
doing it
job.
well.
They are doing it well. I think it's funny too that like they were bred to be originally like with royalty and be like prim and proper and they're like the
Hmm.
purse dogs, but I feel like from what I've seen at the school, like oh, so sorry. My dogs are I don't
That's
know
all
if
right.
you
It's
can hear
not
them.
that loud.
Doing their job.
Okay.
They're doing their
They're
job.
they're doing their job. Um, the dogs that we've seen at school, that the toy dogs, they're always the ones who want to get like dirty. Like
Yeah.
Tula, Coco, they're always the ones that are like rolling in the dirt. Like
Yeah.
Tula, call her like the little like what do we call her? Little junkyard dog. She's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any
Chula, our
bird
little
poop.
Chihuahua dachshund something.
Yeah.
yeah, it's so funny. They're like, and they're not afraid to like get dirty and like play and be dogs. It's funny.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like with like the foraging and stuff, like just because, yeah, you would think that they would just be like, oh, they're so sweet, they're so little, like they just want to be held and loved on. Like, no, they want to be dogs too. Like
Hmm.
they want to dig in the dirt and roll in the grass and eat bird poop. Like they're dogs too. Like just because they're little and cute, like they want to do it all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that's why we see the problems that we see with little dogs, and everyone's so surprised. And then at first, it's funny when your dog's doing something that too barky, too snappy, too growly, whatever it is, shredding things. And then it's not funny. But if you think about it, I think a lot of people don't understand how smart these little guys really are. I mean,
Hmm.
I can't think of one we have that's not incredibly intelligent at the school. They love the games and play and play and play, and you can make it
Imagine you're
really
like,
difficult.
well, except
You know, it rhymes
yeah,
with.
they're kind of dumb.
But people, I just don't. I'm always surprised that people are surprised that their little dogs get into the activities and
Yeah.
even like knocking down boxes. And they like to do we do like fake search and rescue where we hide dolls or toys in a big pile of boxes or rubble. And they just dive right in there too and look for them. It's funny, but people don't realize that aspect of the little dogs because they do like to be snuggled and held and on your lap too, but there is that side to them.
The
So I
best
think
of best of both worlds.
it can
Hmm.
be.
They
It
like to
can be. And
snuggle,
if
but then
you
they like to get down and dirty too.
Down
Work,
and
work
dirty.
hard, play hard, snuggle hard.
yeah, that could be their t-shirt, their little
Yeah.
little motto. But that's what makes them really fun. I was never a little dog person only because I had always had big dogs growing up. And then my first couple dogs as an adult, they were big. And then we fostered this guy named Pee-wee, who was 4 pounds. and 8 weeks old, and he was on the euthanasia list because he was sick. So we're like, we'll foster him. I worked at a shelter at a time, and then Maren's like, we have to keep him. I love him so much. Like, well, we've never had a little dog before, but he was the
He was just a
coolest.
little guy.
How do you
Yeah,
say
he was
no to a
just
peewee?
right. And he really gave me a true appreciation for those guys. He was, it would pour rain and he would be out there in the patio, like his face just in the wind with the rain coming down, like the old man in the sea. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's just really cool where our herding dogs are hiding under the table and quaking in the closets. And he was just like, bring it on. And I I loved him. I really grew to love little dogs after Pee Wee, and now I think they're so much fun because it is such a cool mix of stuff, and they are big dogs in a little dog body. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Oh,
They
I was gonna
are.
say something. Oh yeah, yeah. Obi, like when we're talking about like all the natural dog behaviors that people are surprised to see in little dogs, Obi loves to shred. Like one of his favorite things to do, he loves to open a package. Whenever it's Christmas time, I wrap a couple toys up in wrapping paper because he loves to shred paper open. He doesn't eat it, he just loves to rip it. And it's his favorite thing. And it's like it's so funny because he is just like this cute little guy, and then you give him something to rip open and he's just like
It's just
tearing
tenacious, like
it.
ah.
Oh, he's so happy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's important to give your little guys jobs. And that's basically what we do at our school. It's they don't have their original jobs, even though sometimes they get to lap guard you. Often people complain about the lap guarding, so you've got to find something else to use their mental capacities and their body capacities. So we come up with these games that are like their modern day jobs. And so you have to provide those for your little guy. I just worked with a little guy over the weekend, um, who has a lot of challenges, but I think it's because he doesn't get to sniff. He doesn't get to have safe space. He doesn't get a lot of say. So his thing and now is he's trying to control the entire house and control everybody that's in the house. And he's just not having an outlet to use all that is in his head. So that's what we're working on right away. Like give him some ways to use all that stuff that's going on in his head because he's a cool little dog. But they've always kind of treated him like a baby and they hold him and they coochie coo him, and that can be okay, but also you've got to fill that void. You've got to give them stuff to engage their brain.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times people do love like babying their little dog and like giving them all the love and making them feel like the most important thing ever. But then when the little dog turns around and guards them from some other dog, they're like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're reinforcing that, like, oh, it's me and you, buddy. Like, you're the best. Like, I love you so much. And then he feels like he needs to defend that and protect that because this other dog is moving in and he's going to try to take that from him. Like, so I think,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a bit of
That's so
a,
true.
yeah,
Me and you against the world. Oh, but don't growl at anyone or bark
I
at anyone.
know. You also have to
Act
be
like we're
open to
against
other
the
dogs
world.
too.
Don't actually be against people
Yeah.
though. You need to be
Yeah,
really
and it
serious.
just reinforces what we say all the time. And the whole reason we're even doing this little short series on breeds is be prepared. Like when you get a dog in your life, learn what its genetic makeup is. And while it is absolutely not a predictor of behavior, it is a component of, and don't be surprised if you see these behaviors come out in the home. Like you consider all these things that they were bred for, and how might that show up in your home environment, and then be ready for it. And you can work with it. It doesn't, like we've mentioned on other podcasts, it doesn't mean you just let your dog shred people that come through your house. But if you are kind of expecting that to happen, then you can be prepared and then set them up for success and help them work through their issues.
Mhm.
So that's going to be the main theme with all of our dog breed groups. It's like just expect some things, don't be scared or afraid or worried. What's going on with my dog? Why is he bad? Why is he broken?
Yeah.
Um, and then you can help them.
Expect the
Everything is,
unexpected.
yeah, yeah. Or be prepared for, be
Yeah.
prepared. In fact, we will mention this a million times while we're doing the breed groups too. Kim's Meet Your Dog. It sounded like you kind of did a lot of the things that you'll love, things you might find challenging,
Yeah, I can read
but I
them out
can,
I can read them out directly if you want me to, but I think I covered most of them, so I can just briefly go through them. So yeah,
Yeah, I just think it's good information.
sure. So according to
Okay.
Kim Brophy, you will fall in love with your toy dog because he's sensitive, like we said. He's intuitive and emotional. He's designed for attending to and comforting his person, which they are. I feel Obi is so, I always say that Obi could be a little emotional support dog because at least with me, whenever if I'm ever stressed out about something, just talking about whatever, and I start raising my voice or just getting like emotional about something, he always comes over and he sits on my lap. It's like he's just it's so like obviously, but like I'm every time I'm like, oh he knows. But of course he
He's
knows.
like,
That's his job.
hold on, mother.
But of course he does. And he started doing that to Callum as well. Like if Callum is upset about
Oh,
something or stressed out, Obi will come over and cuddle with him. There was one day that Callum was
That's
just
so
feeling
sweet.
really sick, and so he was just laying in bed, and I was out here working, and Obi just went in bed and just laid with him. And Callum was like, he
oh,
knows I'm not feeling well. I'm like, I know he does. That's what he does.
He has like a
that's
little cup of
nice.
Tylenol with him. He's like, here you
Yeah,
go.
it's okay.
There's a little tea. Oh, that's nice.
They are engaging. Your toy dog is fun loving, playful, and curious with family and friends. Emphasis on the family and friends part, I think, with the people they feel safe with. All these good
Yeah.
behaviors are going to come out. Practical, highly portable. He is easier to care for, manage, and satisfy than many other dogs. True. But I think at the same time, that doesn't mean that every toy dog wants to go everywhere with you and wants to travel around. You gotta look at the individual and the situation that you're bringing them in. All right, you might find a toy dog hard to live with because he's codependent. Your lap dog's clinginess and demands for attention may be challenging. He is wary. Toy dogs may be prone to alarm barking and defensiveness in new conditions. Barking at a doorbell, barking at knocks on the door, someone walking past your window.
A
And
bookshelf
they,
that suddenly appeared.
yeah, a bookshelf
Bookshelf,
that,
haunted bookshelf.
yeah, a haunted bookshelf. They may be wary of that. And they are fragile. Bad weather, exercise, work, injury, or stress can easily put him over the edge. And then finally, you might find yourself seeking professional help for separation anxiety, house soiling slash difficulty in house training, his perception of stranger danger at home and in public, protectiveness of his person, also known as lap guarding, difficulty with small children. Obi definitely has that. He hates
Mm,
children.
he does not like Jude.
He does not like children, period.
So fair.
Excessive barking, handling and grooming intolerance, and reactivity and dramatic behavior towards other dogs. And that is a toy dog for you.
Bravo.
They are lovely.
They are lovely.
They
They are
are.
lovely.
You never, I feel like no one's ever a little dog person until they get a little dog.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
That's
like,
so true.
it's so much more than just a little lap dog,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lifestyle.
My Nana was a cat person, and then Gigi turned her around to be a little dog person. I never thought I would see that happen. It
That's
is
That's
a
like
funny.
lifestyle.
That's like Callum as well. Like he's always been a cat person. He never grew up with dogs or really anything, but now he's like, oh, I love little dogs. And he's like, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I'd ever get a big dog, but I just love Obi. I'm like, how can you not?
I know.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little boy.
He's just a little boy. He's just
He
a
Anyway,
does
wee
act like a
lad.
little boy. A wee lad.
yeah. What is some his mom called him the other day a wee Tojo.
What is that?
I think it just means like a little guy. A wee Tojo.
Oh, we
That's cute.
Tojo.
That's cute. That's
That's
a
the toy
t-shirt.
dog shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm a wee Tojo.
Yeah.
I'm just a wee Tojo in a big world.
Yeah.
All
Are
right.
you guys ready for scent hounds?
Tell us about Sun Hounds.
I've been
All
ready for
right.
scent hounds, to be honest.
Oh, okay. She's been eagerly awaiting.
I've been tapping my foot. That means
Fill our brains. Fill our brains with your knowledge of scent hounds.
So I'll go over some of the oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Some of
Because it's
the
Sunday morning.
yeah, hello, brain, come back. This is the fun about postpartum. Sometimes your brain just like escapes your your head. Scent hounds. I'll go over some of the breeds. Some of the breeds. That's the word. Wow. Okay. Okay. So some of the common breeds of scent hounds. We have our basset hounds. We've got our beagles. We have coon hounds, fox hounds, bloodhounds. I don't know if we're catching on, but it's basically all just hounds.
If it ends in hound.
Griffins, harriers. That's about the span of them. Um, Also, I just wanted to mention, I think my dog Molly is part beagle or some kind of hound, and I got her DNA tested, and I'm not saying they're wrong, but there was no hound in the DNA test. And then I ran her through the dog key and it came up with hound.
Yeah,
So
I don't
do
believe
with
that she doesn't have hound in her.
right?
Oh, she
So
She looks
totally
like a
looks like
hound.
a
She
hound.
barks like a
Her whole
hound.
head.
yes, I know. So do with that information
See?
as you will, but it was pretty we all think so. So just do with that as you will. So yeah, they are selected for well, they were selected for mostly hunting, um, and helping, obviously find the scent of animals, or I mean, even in like rescue cases or things like that, now they still, do that kind of stuff. Any type of scent they can help pick up on. They are also selected for being really tenacious and not giving up and not getting distracted during hunts. They wanted them to be like, go, go, go. You don't stop until, I tell you not to, which was great then, but now it's kind of hard if they don't have an on but or off button. Um, they were also selected for cooperative and like social behavior with other dogs, and members of their social group, because they did hunt in groups a lot of the time. So pretty, they're not really, they don't have an issue around other dogs most of the time. Molly does, but she's different. Um,
The
so
It's
mystery
they're,
not a
hound in her.
predictor.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, they're most of the time okay with other dogs. Um, they I do have the Kim's list of things that are good about them and things that can be challenging. So some of the things that they excel at are being social and outgoing, relatively friendly with other dogs. They can be I think we've all witnessed this with any type of hound, very passionate and emotional and
Think about Remy.
loud. Yeah,
Remy, I know.
yes,
I have the
Remy.
funniest video from when I was dog sitting Remy. I had never dog sat for him before. I came into their little townhouse and he saw me and he was just like running around the kitchen like, what?
Oh my God. If you have that, we
I'll
should,
have to
well, I don't
post
know.
it for, yeah.
Yeah, that would be so funny. Yeah, because they're the ones that like bay. They call it baying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which I guess
Yeah.
was good for when they were like alerting to something when they were hunting, but now if they're just like baying at your neighbors, then it's kind
Yeah.
of a lot.
Yeah.
Well, we have a basset hound that lives behind us. And
Yeah.
Elena, I think you've heard it when you're at the
Yeah.
school because he'll be out there baying, and then the dad runs out there. He's like, "Shut up." You're like, "You got yourself a basset hound." Like, I'm not really sure why you're surprised by that. So
The last I did, the
he
dad
and
was
Jinx talk to
pissed.
each other. It's
Yeah.
like,
Oh.
It was so funny because another Remy story, because obviously he's like full beagle and they lived in like this like townhouse community. And so when I was dog sitting for them, I had like their window open once and there were people walking outside the townhouse and he just started baying at them and I just hear them go from down below. They're like, hi, Remy. Like everyone just knew him. I'm like, oh, that's great. Like I don't feel bad. Like they're all just like, oh, it's just Remy.
Good
I think if
morning,
you have
Remy.
you have to, if you have a hound, meet all your neighbors and introduce your dog so they get it. Like
Yeah.
you're just gonna hear them
Yeah,
vocalize sometimes. It's what they do.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
it's
sorry.
cute. Yeah.
And I feel like
My
their
dad
bang is so funny. Like, how can you even get mad at it? Like, it's not like a normal dog bark. Like, for me, like, beagles and like huskies, like their noises, I'm just like, it's a lot, but it's just so funny. Like,
It's
Yeah.
such a clear communication. It's
yeah,
not just
Hmm.
them barking at whatever. It's so clear that they're trying to tell you something. It's amazing.
it's like it's just on the
Yeah.
tip of their tongue.
I'm trying to tell you something.
No. Dad, Dad.
My dad came over to pick up Jude this morning, and of course, my dogs were outside and losing their minds. And he was like, "Do your neighbors ever get upset at your dogs barking?" And I'm like, "I don't know, probably." I'm like, "But they're gonna bark their dogs."
Yeah.
Sorry. One of them is a hound.
Allegedly.
She's,
Allegedly.
she's doing her job. She's doing her job.
So yeah, very, very passionate, very emotional. Um, they on the other side of things, some of the challenging aspects of them, they can be impulsive, because they're naturally ambitious. They are supposed to be able to tune out everything and focus on what they want, which is another
Gordon,
reason why yeah, oh my gosh, Gordon, yeah.
he will
Oh
tune out
wow.
everything to get that one treat behind the shelf.
Behind the shelf,
That's
he
what he
will
wants.
flip over the entire classroom to find that one piece of kibble, and he will not listen to you until he finds that one piece of
Mm-mm.
kibble.
And he always finds it can be a 3 week old piece of kibble, or like he leaves for the summer. He comes back on his first day back. He can find
Yeah.
every piece of kibble that has been just got fallen in the cracks for three
He's still
months.
searching for that one he was finding before he left.
It's quite impressive. It's quite impressive.
He cannot let it go. Well, that was one of the reasons I thought Molly was part hound too, because she is also very impulsive. Like when she's doing what she doesn't like what she wants to do, there's no breaking her out of it. I just gotta either distract her with something else or just let her work through it because
Yeah.
they're determined. Um, oh, another challenging aspect, I guess, is their determination for sniffing, tracking, pursuing targets. So that can obviously make modern life kind of tough, if they deem something a target and they're just going after it, especially around other animals, and children. Maybe I don't know. I think they're generally okay with kids, but um, they're also really loud, as we talked about, because they were supposed to be loud, marking during hunts, their baying, but obviously in, a condo or a quiet neighborhood, that's not okay. Um, I do have Kim Brophy's list of things that people might need guidance with, and then I can go over enrichment for them. Um, Obviously, they would probably need help with excessive barking, um, predatory behavior towards other animals, um, their act first, think later mentality, um, leash reactivity with other animals. Um, they don't have the best recall. They also have difficulty with confinement and being indoors, which I've seen a lot with Molly too. If she could stay outside all day, she would. Um, and interesting fact is up until the last 50 years or so, these dogs were not kept indoors. They were mainly kept outside and just used for hunting and working. So they weren't really pets, until fairly recently. Um, so yeah, they have a I feel like they have a lot of stuff that could enrich them. Honestly, probably just being having access to the outside, I feel like is enriching for them because they don't like the confinement. They like to do what they want to do. So giving them, some option of choice with that is always good.
The scents
Um,
out there too.
the
They can just
sense,
take
yeah.
in all the scents.
hmm One of Molly's favorite things is when I was single, I would just take her like everywhere with me to drive around and I would roll down the window and she
Mm.
just loved like sniffing out the window and just hanging out. Um, so yeah, they love anything scent, if you want to do barn hunts with them or I know that like they have a lot of like scent work classes now that people have been doing. Um, Foraging you can do at home. Or, like you can do scent stuff at home too with like at school we use little rags and we put I'm trying to think of what that one is that scent that they use most of the time in scent classes. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, it's birch. Birch is
Birch, yes. Yeah. Birch. Sometimes we use like seasonings, like we'll use like a cinnamon or, something for them to sniff out. But those games are fun. They love digging. Um, they I'm trying to think, love any type of tracking game. At school we do the go find it or the backtrack game where you show them where you hide something and then you have them wait until you've hidden it and you come back and then you release them and then they can go find it. And I found that those dogs love that kind of stuff, that tracking stuff. Um, do you guys can you guys think of anything else enrichment wise?
scatter feeds. It's like
Scatter
the easiest
feed.
thing you can do. Just take a handful of kibble or treats and just throw it in your yard, let it scatter far and wide, and they will spend all day to make sure that they did not miss one. We have a dog who also did not test on the DNA test as any kind of hound, but May, I am sure, has some beagle in her. And one of our vets even walked in when she's like, "Oh, you got a little beagle mix there." I'm like, "I think so too." And we'll do scatter feeds at least twice, if not 3 or 4 times a day. And Jinx and Clover and dogs will do their thing and then they go inside and May will stay out there for an hour and just methodically go back and forth across the entire yard. And we have a big yard, and she will not go inside until she is sure every little piece of food has been found. So, and then she's down for 4 hours. But they love that kind of stuff. It's
They do.
May's
They
love
really
favorite
it.
do.
May's favorite thing is like looking through the classroom after all the school dogs go home and making sure nobody missed it in the games.
Oh,
Just
Yeah,
double
yeah.
checking everyone's work.
She does. In fact, this morning she led me out there and she checked the ball pit and made sure there was kibble free. And there was a big stack of boxes because we had done a bunch of nose work
oh.
and search stuff last week. And she just pulls out all the boxes and then she jumps in every single one and she's ripping the paper. I'm like, "Are you satisfied?" So she definitely has some hound in her.
But yeah.
I
But yeah,
think so too.
all those games and sort of like with the backtrack memory game, you can also fill a sock with some sort of scent and drag it around the yard
Oh,
and then release your dog to
yeah.
find it so they can literally track the scent, which is really fun too.
Also,
That's a good idea.
that reminds me of like we do it at school, but you could also just do it for your dog at home. Like if you're ever traveling or going somewhere without your dog, if you take like a rag or like a washcloth
Mm.
and then you can kind of drag it, like especially if you're going like hiking or somewhere in nature with like a
Mm.
lot of interesting smells, or even just like in a busy city or something, you could take a rag and kind of rub it around to get the scent on it and then just bring it home for your dog to check out. Because for a scent hound, especially, I think they'd love that.
Yeah.
Just to check out all the smells, see where you've been.
Or a
Yeah.
person. Remember what a hit Ollie's grandpa was at school?
Yeah, we do that at school too.
Remember when I hit Ollie's grandpa? I was like, no.
You're like, when did I do that?
You jerk. No.
I'm like, with your car? Yeah, everyone loved
That's a
Ollie's
whole nother, that's our true crime podcast. That's kind of- Yeah, we
Shout
did
out
that
to
at
Ollie's
school.
grandpa.
You're a good sport. We'll put out rags for people to take home, and then either take it to work with you, and Ollie took a rag home and gave it to Grandpa. So Grandpa wore it in his shirt for a little while, and then everybody brings their scent rags back, and we put them up around the school. And out of all the different things, somebody had gone to a farm, and so it smelled like horse kennel stall, sorry. And somebody else had gone to Flagstaff, so it had like forest smell, but Ollie's grandpa for the win would have that little t-shirt on the rag, and everybody would just like walk by like, whoa. It was
Who is
so cool.
that?
And when we moved to a new facility, some of the guys who were helping us move, they threw it out. I'm like, not Ollie's grandpa's.
No.
Ollie, if you're listening, we need another rag from your grandpa. Whatever cologne he wore or whatever, he was a hit.
So
But yeah, but that is something really simple and easy to do. And yeah.
I know a lot of
If you
people.
have a grandpa.
Yeah, if you
If you have a grandpa,
just let your
your
dog.
scent hound would probably like to smell him.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of people feel bad if they like go on vacation or go on a trip without their dog, but that's something you could do to, it's like bringing them a souvenir, bringing them a
Yeah.
little
Hmm.
snapshot of where
Hmm.
you were, and then that's kind of fun, and maybe it'll make you feel less bad about leaving them home.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Consider.
Consider. Consider your scent hound.
Sense for thought.
But yeah, that was pretty much all I had about scent hounds, unless there's anything else.
They're generally really affable dogs. They can have resource issues because they're
Hmm.
so tuned in to the target that
Yep.
they're
Hmm.
supposed to acquire. I think most of them we've had have had at least slight resource stuff.
Yeah.
Usually just
But again, I
just
want to throw out there,
their dog.
um, what?
Their resource guarding is usually just like at the other dog.
I know.
Yeah.
Mine.
Nothing crazy. It just sounds really dramatic, but it's not
I
like they're
know.
like attacking them. They're just yelling.
It works. It kind of freaks him out. Like, there's something wrong with that dude. I didn't really want that piece of food, that 3-week-old piece of kibble. Um, I want to throw it out there because as we're getting more into these breeds, and something about what you said with the Scent Hound, um, what was it that really made me think about it? Like if there, I think the barking. So if you're really concerned, like if you do your research and you know, okay, I really want a beagling mix or a hound mix or a herding dog mix or whatever it is, and you read up and you learn what some of the behaviors that you can expect to see or maybe see, if there's something that's concerning to you, it doesn't mean okay, so if you see a behavior that's concerning to you, work on the other parts of their behavior to help give them a solid base. So, barking, then start working with your dog on um, how to teach him. Like you can have two barks, and then we need to go inside and shape their environment and create an environment where they're not going to be exposed to the outside world and want to bay at every single thing that goes by. Like, have a closed fence versus an open fence on a
Hmm.
or the golf yard. You can help prove some of the things that you might be worried about if you work with the other parts of their legs, their learning, their environment, and their self. I just want to throw that out there because we talk a lot about these behaviors that you shouldn't be surprised to expect, but you can help. Um, I don't know how to say it right. You
It
can
doesn't mean
give
you
them a solid found.
doesn't mean you just have to be fine with them doing that all the time. Like you can manage it.
Yeah. Because we do
If
that with Molly. We give her like designated window time where she can look out the window for a while. But if she were to look out the window all day long without us helping her regulate, she would be like, "Wah!" Like
Yeah.
she would be up here. So I get what you're saying. Just like managing the environment and kind of helping them do what they want, but not like
Yeah.
full on access, or not full on access, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like
Yeah.
if you're worried about something being a problem, some people don't care about the barking, so whatever, no worries. But if you're really concerned about some of these behaviors, then try to help them by teaching them alternative behaviors or desensitizing them while they're young and still somewhat impressionable. You can strengthen the other parts of their legs because all the LEGS should all be in balance. So if you're concerned about the G being too
Genetics.
long, help the other ones strengthen, like it's
Mhm. Yeah.
coming out really ugly in my mouth, but
No, I
Did
think
we go
um,
over what the legs is? Do they
no, we
know?
probably need to do that too.
We do like a little round robin of of the legs
okay. Somebody start with the L with the L.
with the la.
So you'll hear us talk about the legs, which is the learning, the environment, the genetics, and the self. We all have it. It's not just for dogs, but obviously we're going to be talking about it much more in relation to our dogs. So we're going to explain to you what that is if you're not familiar with that concept. L, the learning, is anything that they might learn from the moment they're born. It's going to be experiences that they've had, any training that they've gone through, learning from other dogs, their mom, their siblings, their foster family, future dogs that they live with in the home, any bit of information that they've gathered. It all matters.
Yeah, I can do E. E is for environment. And environment is exactly what it sounds like. It is not only the home environment, like the home in which your dog lives in, but also the neighborhood that your dog lives in, the town that your dog lives in. Any part of the environment that they are exposed to does impact your dog. Like if you live in a city versus a rural area versus on the beach versus in the woods, all of that impacts your dog, not only just inside your house. Anywhere that your dog is exposed to is their environment. And it can change if you go like on a trip. Your dog's environment is different than your home environment, so they might act differently because their environment's changed. It's just where your dog is exposed to, basically.
I can do G. G is for genetics, so that's the genetic makeup of your dog. So obviously a DNA test would be helpful, but any of those genetic pieces that they have, their breed types that they may be mixed with, or um, anything that contributes to their genetics, if they have some sort of like, I don't know, where was I going with that? Uh, I guess genes from their mom, anything that contributes to their genetic DNA that makes them what they are. That was rough, but
That one's
Sorry.
pretty
We got
self-explanatory, though.
there, yeah. Genetics
I
is
was
what
trying
we've
to,
been talking
I was
about
trying
for the
to,
past 3 episodes. If you don't know
I know.
genetics, you haven't been listening.
If you don't know genetics now, you never will. The end.
We can only teach you so much.
Mic drop. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
You want to
All
finish
right,
us?
I can. Okay. And S is for self. Who is the dog? How old are they? Male, female? Are they intact? Have they been altered? Do they have any medical conditions? Do they have any neurological conditions? Do they have allergies? All those things matter. Um, gosh, what else? What else contributes to self? Just anything that creates the unique individual that they are.
Yeah. And that's legs in a nutshell.
There you go.
We all have them.
So use them.
The leg. All right. So our next breed group that we'd like to talk about is the bulldog group. And I wanted to say this because it was funny. We were all talking about what groups we wanted to cover ourselves. And of course, we all have our favorites, usually based on dogs that we've lived with and feel like we know a lot about. And we all kind of hesitated about bulldogs. Like none of us really wanted to talk about bulldogs. And it's not because we don't love them, it's because bulldogs can get really controversial really fast. So I want to talk about that a little bit in relation to like bust some myths about this. So, first of all, the history of bulldogs, they were bred from taking terriers and guardian dogs. So, they're the terrier, there's your tenacity, there's your go, 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 and then your guardians are the protective, strong enforcers. So, it's a really interesting combination. And you can see all over the board and the bulls. The ones that have a little more terrier in them are going to be a little higher prey drive, um, maybe a little more tenacious. And then if they have a little more guardian in them, you tend to see more resource guarding, more protective qualities. And just like we have mentioned, it's always a spectrum, but that's why you might see some of the stuff you see in the bulldogs. That being said, they were created, bred for entertainment purposes. So they are the class clowns. They are generally extremely sociable with people that they know. They can make friends easily with other people. And that's, a lot of pit bull advocates are always quick to say, well, they're really friendly with people. They're really good with the family. Yes, they are. And they were bred for that. So that's not where the controversy is. The controversy is because they were bred as entertainers back in the day, entertainment was killing large animals. And so they were bred to kill bears, lions, big animals. So they have that tenacity, which is what they took from the terrier groups. After bull baiting became illegal, then they started using dogs. Dogs are easier to get, dogs are easier to have underground. Literally, these fights were kept underground. And so the dogs were started to be used against other dogs, which is disgusting. It's a sad part of history, but it also explains why they have some of the behaviors they have. And please, any of you listening, we all love bulldogs. I like bulldogs very much. I feel sorry for them because they do tend to get a bad rap. But even some of their advocates don't understand their behavior. They aren't always good with dogs because we bred them not to be good with dogs. And it really doesn't matter because they generally are great family dogs. Our job in having these dogs live in our homes is to just keep them out of trouble. So if you learn about what their triggers are, what they might be good with and what they may not be good with, just keep them out of trouble. And then they're fantastic pets. The danger is because dog fighting is still sadly happening. It's the dark underground, but it's still pretty rampant. That means that this DNA that's creating these dogs that are willing to fight and kill other dogs is still floating around out there. And then these puppies show up, or the failed fighting dogs show up in county shelters on the street. And without proper counseling, you just don't know what you're getting. And that doesn't mean they're going to be a bad dog to have as a pet, but they're probably going to be more likely to have that aggressive tendency toward other animals. So again, you can have them and they can be lovely and they can be happy and enriched, but keep them out of trouble. So there's the big controversy is never wanting to breed label. Yes, Maren.
I was just gonna say, just kind of tied into what you're saying about the fighting dogs and how like that doesn't mean that you can't have them as a family dog. And I think a lot of people always say like, oh, but they're just big sweethearts, they're big goofies, like with their family. And I've heard you say a lot that yeah, pit bulls are generally bulldogs, not just pit bulls, but bulldogs in general are generally very good with people and really good at being handled because like with how they were bred for fighting, like the goal was to go after the animal, but then as soon as the person comes into the ring to pull them back, they don't want them to redirect on them, so they have to be really manageable and social with people. So yeah, they might be great family dogs, but then they still do have that genetics in them potentially. So it's just like just because they are so sweet and so loving, like that's part of what they were bred for. Like it's they have both.
Yeah, Elena.
Sorry.
Elena has
No.
a comment.
I like
See, there's
that.
a lot to say.
I know,
Well,
now we're thinking.
I'm trying to word it very carefully because I adore pitties, but there's a lot to say.
Yeah, there is. And I think that is a good point, like about how, yeah, we're not saying that they're just as a whole aggressive. They're they have been bred to be aggressive in specific ways.
Hmm.
So what I think what is also important to consider is just because they have a bad history doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it. Like just because like we have a bad history as a country doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it. Like the only way
Hmm.
we can grow and learn from something is if we talk about it. So the more we talk about their bad history and what they were bred for and some of the things that are challenging, the more we can help them and figure out how to help them navigate through modern life. If we just keep sweeping it under the rug, it's nothing's going to change. I feel like we can't not I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I feel like sugarcoating in this case does more harm than good.
Yeah.
I agree. We've had
Lowering
that
my hand.
conversation among the three of us repeatedly because we are all fans of bulldogs. Like I said, I feel sorry for them because they're so misunderstood, and I think they're often misunderstood by the people that love them very much. You have to give them the respect they deserve, um, and we can do right by them. We really can do right by them. And I've heard some people say that the answer would be better breeding. A lot of people are, I mean, because the dog fighting is still happening, we're going to still see these dogs with these high prey drives and the tenacity, and they tend to go 0 to 60, and the decreased ritualized aggression because they don't want to care about letting their opponent know that I'm coming in for you. You just have to go because that's what makes a fight. If they were breeding dogs who had the ritualized aggression and signaling and lip curling and the ears and that kind of thing, it wouldn't be much of a fight because the other dog would be like, oh, well, you don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. These guys were chosen for very specific traits, and it is still out there. So again, you can live with them, but we have to talk about the challenges they face so you can do right by them and not put them in a situation that is going to create all these problems that people are afraid of, because then it just perpetuates the myth that, oh, dogs are dangerous. Oh, their jaws lock. And no, they don't. They tend to lock on because of the arousal level, and they were selectively bred for that intensity. Um, but I don't know a lot about the breeding world. If people are breeding uh, well, your boxers and your Frenchies, there's a lot of Frenchies right now that are out there. Um, they have to be really responsible breeders, but also counseled properly. So when you get your cute little Frenchie or your boxer or your bull terrier, you just you can be prepared for what might show up. And this is another perfect example of, if you're worried about a genetic behavior they might have, then if you're worried about your bulldog maybe not doing well with other animals, then when they're puppies, exposure, exposure, exposure to cats and other dogs and all kinds of people and little animals and big animals. And that doesn't mean it's going to love all of them, but you do the best you can by presenting opportunities to be exposed to them. You reward nice interactions. You reward any kind of ritualized aggression you see. If you see your bulldog do a shake off, then like, oh, what a good boy. What a good boy. Yes,
We
Maren.
probably explain what ritualized aggression is because I feel like we've kind of used that term a couple times and
Mm.
explained it, but I don't know if it's a term that a lot of people would be completely familiar with.
Yeah, yeah, I think we have used it before. So ritualized aggression, it's aggression that you would see in the wild, and the point of it is to actually avoid an altercation. So if you have two dogs that may be competing for space, resources, mating rights, they do all kinds of signaling to each other. The ears, the whiskers, we've all seen it and probably just didn't even know what that was. But it's when dogs are kind of signaling to each other, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And it's actually to try to avoid any kind of confrontation because in the wild, getting into a fight, you it could be a waste of energy. You could get injured and you could die. So you're not going to get into a fight if you don't have to. So all the ritualized aggression, all that signaling, the posturing, the stiffening, that's all to see if you can possibly work it out and avoid a fight. Um, and in the bulldog group, they bred that out of dogs because it wouldn't make for a good fight. They want dogs to not think what they're doing. They see the other animal and they go. Not all of them, when they bred them for entertainment. But because our dogs today still look like the bulldogs of the past, unfortunately, they've carried some of that icky DNA with them. Um, did that explain it well enough?
Yeah, no, I think that was
I
good.
think
Just because
so.
we've used that term a bit, and I don't think the average person who's not in the dog world would necessarily know what exactly that was. So I didn't want to keep using it without going in depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably will talk about this again too, because the ritualized aggression is what a lot of people see in dog parks or daycares or even between sibling dogs to try to avoid having a fight or a confrontation. And I feel like a lot of people punish their dogs when they see their dog lip curl or do like the slight ritualized stuff. And then that can lead to a whole host of problems. You've got to let dogs communicate with other dogs in a dog way. But so maybe that would be a topic to circle back to at some point.
Ooh, that
Really,
would be a one to talk about
a
ritualized
really
aggression
deep
just as a
dive.
whole. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The other thing that you tend to see in the bulldogs is an increased tolerance for pain, increased arousal, like we mentioned. But again, they're big softies, they're goofies, they're the life of the party, and that's great. But you as far as keeping them out of trouble, like going to daycares and going to dog parks is where you could put them in a bad situation because there's a lot of stuff going on. They get over aroused, overexcited, not even in a negative way, but there's just a lot of stimulus there. And their play style is wrestly, bitey. It's really rough and tough. And you have to find a good match for that because it can be very rude to some dogs. As a rule, I don't know very many herding dogs that really enjoy bulldogs because it's so opposite. The herders are such rule followers, and this is how we play, and the bulldogs are just like "Woo," and just go. Um, and neither's right or wrong. It's just know your dog, your breed tendencies, and then you can help set them up for success. Um, so enrichment for these dogs, anything that engages all their muscle and harnesses their strength and gives them purpose. A lot of them like to do parkour. They like tri-ball. They like pushing those big balls around. I know people whose pitties, they play the floor is lava game where they just jump from couch to chair to bench to chair. And it's fun because they like to just feel all their muscles engaged. Wrestling, so if you have a good match for him play wise, that can be really fun. They do like to be outside a lot. Dog sports are usually a good outlet for them. Um, Drafting, which I always thought would be so fun, but in Phoenix, it's just too hot to really do that. It's like pulling weight on a cart or on a sled. Um, I'm sure they can just feel their whole body being engaged and it's giving them a job. And it's actually pretty cool to see. They do that a lot on the East Coast. Complex problem solving. These guys are often very smart, and it is really fun to sit down on the floor with a pitty or a bull terrier, or we have several boxers in school, and try to put a treat in a towel and twist it up and then throw it in a box on top of another box, and they'll bulldoze down the boxes and then they look for the towel, and they're really fun. I don't know if people give them as much credit for being as smart as they are. But they can be pretty engaging. The Frenchies, we have a Frenchie in school who's just ridiculously smart, and he would do activities all day long. And we just did a private appointment with him and gave mom and dad some ideas of things to keep him busy. And they were like blown away by how he loves to target hands. You throw target mats and he runs and get them and he looks at you and then he runs back. He's so smart. We were doing targeting on walks to keep the focus on parents, and they were just like tickled by how much he loves to work and work and work. Scuba dog, he'll stick his full little Frenchy
Mm.
face in the water and pull stuff out. So I think that surprises people too. They think they're just blockheads, meatheads, dumb dogs, and they're not. Um, they're really cool. So I sometimes wonder if they're in a lot of conflict because they have all these impulses they want to act on, but they can't. Um, and we don't give them enough credit. They're smart, give them stuff to do, jobs. Harness that physical energy too. That's really good for them. What else? What else can we say about bulldogs? I can read off some of bulldog dogs breeds.
Yeah, read off the breeds. Yeah.
Yeah, read us the
Yeah.
bulldog dogs.
Tell me.
Okay, the bulldog dogs. Obviously the bulldog, American bulldog. There's the English bulldog, the old English bulldog, the Staffordshire Terrier, different than a pit bull, often interchanged. Boxers, the bull mastiffs, bull terriers, sorry, the Dogo Argentinos, uh, French bulldogs, obviously the pit bull terriers, any mixes of those. Those are generally our little bulldog entertainer family. And I will read because we've done this so far with everybody and they're entertaining and enlightening. Kim's, you'll fall in love with your bulldog because they're affectionate. He is naturally engaging, tolerant, and endearing with people, like we were saying. Entertaining, whether high octane or low, he's a naturally amusing character, and I would say that is true for everyone I've ever met. They are silly, goofy, fun dogs. Outgoing, his brave and gregarious approach to life can be a total blast. You might find a bulldog hard to live with because they are all or nothing. A 0 to 60 design can catch you off guard at times, and it can be very offensive to dogs in groups. We've seen that. We've had some of the sweetest pitties, boxer mixes, but they just barrel into the other dogs without any warning that they're coming. It can be highly offensive. They don't mean it. And often we were talking the other day after a bulldog kind of gets his little bulldog on, you separate them or you break up the altercation or whatever, and they're just like, what? Like it doesn't bother them. They just like, what? Okay. And then they shake it off and done. You can find them hard to live with because they're powerful. Their strength and force can overwhelm people and other animals. You do have to be a little bit of an athlete yourself to walk them sometimes. They are just powerhouses. They're not trying to be bad or disobedient, but they're strong and they want to go. They can be touchy-feely. If you value your personal space, they might get on your nerves because they do like to touch you, sit on you, be on your head. They're very clingy with their people. You might find yourself seeking professional help for destructive behavior, especially when left alone or unsupervised. Again, it's important to give them jobs where they can harness that energy. I think all of the bulldogs that we've ever had love to
Mhm.
shred. Destruction boxes, ripping up toilet paper, paper bags, um, anything. But that's a good outlet. Otherwise, they're going to chew up your couch, which we had two bulldogs that did that. Um, Incredible power and unmanageability, excitability on leash, especially around other animals. You think about what they were bred for, it's very understandable. That can create a lot of frustration when they're on leash and they see another dog. And so um, try to work with that before it becomes a problem. Over-enthusiastic behavior toward people, jumping, mouthing, roughhousing. Again, it's probably meant in the best way, but they're a lot. It's a lot if a giant Dogo Argentino is jumping on you versus a little rat terrier. Protectiveness of one or more family members toward other people and animals, inflicting severe injuries on other animals in altercations due to their strength, but they don't necessarily start those altercations, and general overarousal in any number of high stimulation circumstances. And all of that makes a lot of sense when you understand what they were bred for. but they can be absolutely lovely. We just have to understand them and minimize their triggers. And when they're young and impressionable, help them understand the world around them and not put them in situations that will get them in trouble.
I did just want to add a personal antidote. I won't go too much into Pancake's story because I'll get emotional, but um, when Sky had first got him from um, county, he was, I don't even know if he was labeled as a cattle dog, but he looked like a cattle dog, but his head was like a pitty. So he had pitty mixed in with him. I don't know how much, but there were, looking back on what I know about bulldogs now, it made a lot of sense, his more challenging behaviors that we dealt with. And I think an important thing to note is I feel like they're obviously doing the best to counsel as they can and as they know, but I it would be nice if we could tell more if a dog has pity in them or is a pity or not a pity, but just bulldogs in general. And be able to counsel with some of the challenges that they might have because I don't even think he was counseled for him being mostly cattle dog either, but the combination of cattle dog and bulldog together was a lot for an 18-year-old to have. I don't know. Not that Sky is innocent. He didn't do his research when he went in, but I think there were a lot of challenges that now looking back, we could have done better for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I push so hard for people to be honest about bulldogs because if I would have known more about them, I would have been able to properly help him.
Yeah.
And so I won't get too much into it, but I think it's important to say sorry. I think it's
Oh,
important to say exactly some of the things that you might see.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people probably have that same experience as well. It's like if they knew, like that's why it is important talking about like the legs of a dog and the genetics and like why I think we're all so passionate about like breed labeling and breed knowledge because I feel like it's a lot of people like if they knew exactly what they were getting into, not even like, oh, they wouldn't have gotten that dog, but it's like they could have been so much more prepared and done their research and really educated themselves to help their dog and help themselves.
Mhm.
So yeah, just not breed labeling. Again, like we all understand why that's not so much a thing or why people hesitate to do that. But I think people just need to get over that stigma and stuff because it's really doing more harm than good, I think, when you just aren't informing people what they're getting into.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need to be able to counsel and help people because they're if they look like, how we said, if they look like what they are, those behaviors aren't going to go away.
That
They're
they
going
have
to
those
continue those
genetics.
behaviors. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I know one of the challenges is out here, at least in Arizona. Well, I know it's all over the country, and I think it's even happening in the UK now too, is the breed banning. Um, it's a big thing, and I know the pit bull advocates, it's not fair or right. All of that stuff is all based on lack of information, I feel. Um, Cocker Spaniels have killed people, Golden Retrievers have killed people, but it's less scary. And there's just this big myth swirling around about bulldogs. Well, if we really understood them, even though their history is icky, they're not all icky now. And if you understand what their triggers are going to be, you can work with that. But that's what the people, like you're saying, like you have to know, you have to understand, like that may not be good in a multi-animal household. Probably better safe than sorry. They might, some of them love cats, some of them love other dogs. But if you can prepare somebody, it can save them a lot of heartache. The dog living in a stressful situation, the other animals in the house people in the house. And some people just have preferences. Some people, um, I would find it really hard to live with a bulldog, even though I love our bulldog clients because I get my little bulldog fix on and it's really fun and I like their personalities. But having herding dogs, it would not be a good match. That's okay. Neither one's bad, but people just have to have this information. And as far as the BSLs and apartment complexes that won't rent you, or if you can't get insurance because you have a pity, that's a bigger social issue. It's not the shelter's fault. It's not the adopter's fault. It's certainly not the dog's fault. But if we can have bigger discussions about this and put it all on the table, and how can we work with this? How could we allow a dog into an apartment complex if it is in this breed group? And maybe I don't know what the answer is, but I think it has to dive deeper than just banning bulldogs. Um, Information is always good. You can't have too much information about anything. Yes, Maren has a thought.
Yeah, just kind of along with that, like how the education is so important because it's like with the breed bans and like this big fear of mostly pit bulls that people have in the world, like it's obviously there are incidents and stuff, but I think that can all be rooted back to education as well because it's like if you're gonna have a pit bull and you're gonna or a bulldog, just pit bulls are the ones that everyone thinks of. If you're gonna have a bulldog and you need to be educated so you can be a responsible owner, like not only just like in your house and the animals in your house, but like if you're going to take them out on a walk, if you're going to take them out into the world, like you need to have this knowledge. And even though your bully might be the sweetest baby in the whole world, you still need to be aware just in case, because, maybe there's going to be a cat that runs across the street while you're walking your two big staffies. And if you're not aware
Stray cats that come into your yard.
exactly. And
Hmm.
if you're not aware that they have this genetic propensity to have like a prey drive, then it's kind of on you. Like, if then that goes badly, like, you have to know. And yeah, it's not the dog's fault because that's just their genetics and like who they
Mhm.
are. But like, if you're going to have any type of dog, you're responsible for learning what you need to do to care the best you can for that dog and potentially, care about the people around you too, because a lot of dogs, like even herding dogs, have like a prey drive. So like it's not just bully breeds, but like you need to be aware so then you can be smart about bringing your dogs into the world and bringing your dogs around other animals and other people. Like you have like that's on you once you adopt that dog, once you buy that dog. Um
And the mixes too, like the cattle
Yeah.
dog bulldog mix, like
Yeah, that's a lot.
that's yeah, it's
Those are
going
tough.
to yeah, like if you have a high drive dog mixed with another high drive dog, those behaviors are probably going to be, ramped up even more. So that's like another thing. Like we
Just
need to know. Like
yeah.
yeah,
Because like that
yeah,
again, that's fine, but you need to be able to be aware of this and handle it if you do come across an issue, um, just be prepared for it or like I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying it in the right way, but you know what I mean.
yeah.
It
No,
all
you
just
are.
goes
Yeah,
back to like breed knowledge and education and not
yeah,
necessarily, and I'm not putting
Yeah.
it on the shelters to be giving people this information. I'm putting it on everyone. Like if you're getting
yeah.
do
Yeah.
research, if like like it's on everyone. Like the problem is not stemming from one source.
Mm-mm.
No, people do more research on the car they're going to get or the phone that they're going to buy than they do with the dog. And that is so crazy to me. You're bringing a living being into your house, and everybody's so quick to say, oh, yeah, dogs need jobs to do. Everybody always says that. So, okay, well, do you know what jobs your dog used to have or that dog used to have? Like, can you carry a little further and then think about that and think about how those behaviors might show up today and how we can help them? That's just it. It's like set your dog up for success.
You
None
know,
of them are bad.
You know what this just made me think of that is has really I've talked to you guys about this before, but it really bothers me. And it's a bit it's like a TikTok trend right now. And I'm seeing these videos and it kind of doesn't have to do with bully breeds, but just any dog. I keep seeing these videos and it's like of a Malinois. And it's like when you were bred to work with police officers, but then you get caught
Oh,
by an 18-year-old girl. And it's just like a Malinois, like in bed with a little eye mask on, like getting all like quote unquote pampered. And then the little caption is like, and he wouldn't want it any other way. And that it drives me crazy. It's like 'cause
Oh,
people are acknowledging that they are getting these dogs that were bred for these like high intensity, and it's usually like Malinois, border collies, like Canes, like all of these like intense dogs, and people are just like, yeah, they were bred for this, but then I adopted him and he loves just being a little baby. I'm like, no, no, it bothers me so much, and I just need to get that out of my system.
that's really
no,
weird.
Yeah,
it
and
is
like,
weird.
I
yeah,
It just
haven't even
dumbs
seen
down
that.
dogs to me. Where that's dumbing down the dog. Like even the most ferocious, I don't even like that word. The most high drive American Staffordshire Terrier. There's something really cool about that. Like that is an animal who has purpose and has instinct and it is what it is, down to like the tiniest little chihuahua who just wants to bark out the window. I just think it's really cool. And to just assume that they all just want to be carried around and put eye mask on and now they just eat the best food and sleep in a bed with me. Like I just think that's
like how was it
disrespectful.
always? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that they don't sometimes like to cuddle and coo and that kind of stuff, but gosh, just respect it for the amazing creature that it is. We don't do that with any other animal that I can think of. You know, it's weird.
Yeah,
It
and the
it's
connotations of those videos is that you're not giving them any outlets to do those behaviors that they were bred for. Like he's just being a little
yeah.
baby dog to this like I don't know. I don't want to say like young people or college students because it's just anyone can be a responsible dog owner and anyone can be a shit dog owner. Like it doesn't matter what
Yeah.
you are, like what your position in life is. But like that's just the videos I've been seeing. It's like college girls who are like, when you were bred to do this, but then you get adopted by a college girl and her roommates, and now you're just a little baby. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, those are the
And
people that are
Those are the people
most
that
likely
are
to
on
post on
TikTok. So
TikTok.
yeah, of course.
yeah.
But like anyone could do that.
Yeah.
It's just not, it really bothers me.
Well, the
And
bullies too, you wonder, they have pretty specific outlets that they need to be happy. Um, Even the most goofy clown one, they're still really strong, powerful
Yeah.
dogs. I'm thinking of one in particular that he was such a clown, but good God, we all thought he was going to kill us because he would just slam into your knees and then he would just run to the next dog and run to the next dog. Like that guy needed to be pulling weight. He needed to be playing tetherball. And mom never did anything with him. He was in a crate unless he was at our school. And that's just not enough. And I think that's why you see with some of those more intense dogs, more behavior problems or dangerous behaviors because they don't have any release. The super intense dog needs, I would say, pretty intense releases to get that out. Um, I haven't read statistics on that, but that would be kind of interesting. The dogs that get themselves into the most trouble. If you could know what their
mm,
lifestyle was like, are they just not getting anything that they need to feel enriched and have purpose? I don't know. Um,
I just,
Dogs for a lot of work, you know? It's like,
yeah. I just wanted to say just kind of like a funny thing, but like as we were going through the characteristics of bullies and like what you could expect or what you need help with, every single thing that you were saying, I was just thinking of my best friend's Pity, Natalie. Shout out to Baby Boy, because that dog is like your stereotypical Pity, big brown Pity, old boy, but he's like a menace to society. Anytime I go over there, all he wants to do is mouth me and jump on me and wrestle with me. And if you leave him alone for 2 seconds, he'll be in the trash can digging through the trash, picking things up. Like his favorite thing to do is Natalie will get him like the biggest stuffy she can find at PetSmart, and he just loves to rip it apart and shred it, and it makes him so happy. But he is like the epitome of pity, and I adore him. But oh my God. He's like my menace nephew.
Short visits are good, and then
It
it's like,
was
I
so,
gotta go now.
I know it was so funny because
Let's see Wawa.
everything you were going through that he's like they like to wrestle, they're mouthy, they might get into trouble or get into things. I'm like, yeah, check, 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 check. Like, been there. So shout out,
He's
pretty boy.
so cute, though.
He's so cute. And then she has another pity, Lexi, who's like just a she just wants to be on you and loved by you, and she's so nervous and so clingy. It's like both of them are just like opposite ends of the spectrum, like bully breed. Like
And
That's what I
they
love
probably
about
get
them too. They're
along.
so
yeah, they get
different.
along great
Bullies are
because
so
they're both
different.
just like there.
So sweet.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, there needs to be more done for sure as far as helping them out in the world. Um,
Just education.
Yeah.
Education and working towards stopping dog fighting. I
Yeah.
mean, there used to be a lot of resources going to that. I remember when some of the pro athletes were parts of dog fighting rings, and there was a lot more news about looking to stop that. And you don't really hear about it anymore, but it's still alive and kicking. And those
Yeah.
dogs find themselves in shelters and breeding with other dogs. And so that's why I feel sorry for bulldogs. It's like they're kind of doomed because they don't have enough advocacy, um, true advocacy and appreciating who they are as dogs
Yeah,
to
based
help
on
them out.
knowledge rather than just based on
Yeah.
pity or sympathy or whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Um,
continuing that knowledge, continuing that
Uh-huh.
learning.
Sorry.
That was a good one.
yeah. That's a tough one, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully we can get somewhere. Not us specifically, but us as a society. Hopefully we can get somewhere with it. I don't know.
I know.
We'll see.
Otherwise, what are we doing this for?
It's not looking good.
Ugh.
Somebody hear us. Help us.
Oh,
Jude, you've got a lot of work on your hands.
oh God.
No,
Yeah. I
educate.
don't know.
But that's part of like Elena, we'll do an episode on this, but Elena's got a business called Tots and Spots, and it's about having children and dogs grow up together, respectfully and doing things together. And I think one of the coolest things about that program is that is the only way having programs like that is the only way things are going to change because kids have to grow up respecting dogs for who they are and appreciating them and enjoying them and all that good stuff. I don't mean respect like fear the big dog.
Mhm.
Um, but if they learn how to understand dogs and how to read their body language and how they should be around dogs and just have a care and compassion and empathy toward them, they're going to grow into those people as adults. And then they're the ones who are going to start making the change. So I love your program so much for that alone. There needs to
Thank
be more humane education where they're young. You have to grow up before you get filled with all these myths and misguided theories and that kind of thing. Because it's rough out there for dogs right now. It's not going to get better until we see some real change. So, shout out to you and Tots and Spots and
We'll put
um,
your Instagram handle in the show notes if people want to check it out.
Okay, thank you. I need to update it. A little side note. I need to update my Instagram because I started uploading on TikTok and then I got a lot of viewers on TikTok and then, putting your child's face on the internet was kind of scary. So now I've backtracked and I've started blurring out his face. So
Okay.
um unfortunately you guys won't be able to see his cute little face, but
Damn it.
you'll get the you'll get the gist of what we're doing. But I do that is my hope with it is to kind of start a generation of people who will grow up and they'll know how to be around dogs. They'll know the ins and outs, the good, the bad about dogs. And when they do find themselves in a place where they're ready to adopt, they or wherever they get their dogs from, they can do so in an informed way and it's not that old school mentality of it's all in the way you raise them all like
Yeah.
let's just start from scratch. um
yeah,
And
Truly.
it's just fun. It's just fun. Yesterday we were doing stacked cups and it didn't go according to plan. It never goes according to plan, but Jude had fun, the dogs had fun. The dogs ended up just like rolling the cups around with kibble in them and trying to get it out that way, and
That's cute.
it was fine. It was fun and everyone was learning how to be respectful of each other and be patient. So, that
Yeah.
was my little spiel.
That's good. No, it's a good spiel. It's important. And
My
that kind
elevator
of stuff is
pitch.
going to be what helps break down those barriers with pit bulls. Like why nobody wants to talk about pit bulls because we don't want to offend anybody. It's like, it's not about offending. It's like, help these dogs. Let's help these
Mhm.
dogs.
Being realistic,
Um,
but like not say
yeah.
any stereotypes or judgments. It's just being realistic and educated about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just consider being realistic.
Just consider being cool. Like, just consider knowing things.
Or
You're not
consider things from
that
the
bad.
dog's, always look at it from the dog's perspective.
Yeah.
I really look at it from the dog's perspective, not like your humanized version of the dog,
Yeah.
but
The
please.
nitty-gritty, down and dirty perspective of the dog.
Yeah, we want you to
Absolutely.
dress up as a dog, roll around in the
Yes.
dirt.
Step one.
Wasn't there a weird British TV show like Wilfred or
Yeah.
something like that where the
Wilfred!
guy
Was that the
Yeah,
what's his face?
yeah, from Lord
Lord
of
of
the
the
Rings.
Rings. Yeah, Elijah Wood.
When will they wear wigs?
Elijah?
Do you
Will
wear
He
you
was a
wear
wigs?
dog.
wigs?
Anyway,
Sorry,
Anywho, we are
I had to say that.
off
it's time
topic,
for us
but
to end this episode, I think.
trying to get out of the sad part about bulldogs and their history, but
Yeah, we
it's
always
gonna be
deflect
okay,
the blame.
bulldogs.
Yeah,
Gonna
we
be okay.
got your back in a
We got
realistic, educated way.
yeah, and yeah,
I would let you pull a sled.
Yeah.
I would let you pull a sled.
If that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah. So next week we're doing part 4 of breed groups, and
Three?
part
Three?
this is part 3, babes. This is part
Four. This is
What?
part three.
Yeah,
Is
because
it
we did
really?
another
Wait,
one just about why breed matters, and then we did last week. A,
Oh, I wasn't counting that one. Okay.
well, I was, and I'm the one who
Nope,
laid
that's
the
fair.
episodes.
Nope, nope. You call the shots here.
Next
Okay.
week we're doing part 4, and we're gonna be going over sight hounds, terriers, and gun dogs. Those are your greyhounds, your Yorkies, and your golden retrievers. And
right here.
right here, this time next week. Give us the outro, Elena.
All right. Still don't have my glasses, so you guys get to see me squint again. Let me pull it up here. Thanks for hanging out with us on What Dogs Really Want. If you liked this episode, hit that follow button, leave a review or comment, and share with someone whose dog might be trying to tell them something. If you have a myth you want busted or a behavior you're curious about, you can drop us a DM or a voice memo at What Dogs Want. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and we'll try to cover it in a future episode. Until next time, stay kind and curious and do fun stuff with your dog.
And respect bulldogs for who they are,
Yeah.
not for who you want them to be.
Shout out
Consider
to
it.
Carlos. Hey,
Shout out
Carlos.
Hey, Carlos and Ollie's grandpa.